Welcome to Auto Off Topic. Hey, Brad.
Good evening, Andrew. How goes life?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Um, what have you been
Excellent to
up to?
hear. Oh, automotive wise or non automotive wise?
Anything you want to talk about?
Okay. Mm, Nothing really. It was kind of a down week. There's not a lot of huge updates. I have a couple of updates when we get to project car stuff. A couple of other things happened in my car life. Um, yeah, I guess we'll start with the big one. I sold the Volkswagen.
Yeah, I saw that. So
Might as well jump right into
was
it,
that
right?
through um Facebook Marketplace?
Yep, Facebook
Hmm.
Marketplace. It's funny because I had basically said if it didn't sell by last weekend, I was going to go ahead and do a couple of the body repairs that I've talked about
Yeah.
and submit it for auction, one of the online auction sites. But in a twist of fate, somebody wanted to look at the car on Sunday
Mm-hmm.
and they liked it and they told me they'd buy it. So I was like, all right, well, chat tomorrow because it's Sunday and we can't really do anything at the bank right now. So he, true to his word, came the next day and we went over all the financials and he paid me some money and he picked it up Tuesday night. So all went well. It was another case of the world is smaller than you think it is,
Oh
though.
yeah.
I mean, I live in a town of 5 million people,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not
Nope.
small. I shouldn't say town. I mean,
It's out
city,
of town.
obviously, is the word I should be using here. Yeah. A really big town, a city. So I live in a city of 5 million people. And the gentleman who bought the car not only has the same career that I had for the past most of my life, he's an insurance
Right.
appraiser. We have mutual contacts, which we learned through, doing the deal all on Facebook, that aren't in the auto insurance world. They're just like other people in our lives. So it's just a really strange way to like really determine how small the world is.
Are they like mutual
It's
car friends?
no, not car friends at all. Unrelated to cars and car
Like
stuff.
old girlfriends? Like what?
So no, it's bicycle friends.
Oh, okay.
So he's a bike rider, and obviously, I ride bikes a lot more than I used to because Naomi is a bike rider. So I have bicycle people friends here too, and they had mutual connections with this guy who's buying my car.
It's a very
So
bike rider-ish car.
yeah, I can see that. I can see that. He had a Jeep Cherokee or Grand Cherokee. He said the letter designation for it. Maybe it's a Wrangler. I forget what it was. He said something in J, so that's probably a Wrangler, right?
Sure.
I think so. Anyway, he had transmission issues and he uses the vehicle for being a, field appraiser for the insurance company. So driving a Jeep with $4.60 a gallon is not ideal.
Yeah.
So he was looking for something that was a little more fuel efficient. And I guess his brother has owned a couple of TDI Volkswagens. So he's been looking for a wagon and came across mine. And we struck a deal that I think is fair for both of us. And he's happy and I'm happy. And now I have paid off some debts and have a pocket full of cash and looking to make bad choices.
Mm.
So, yeah, good stuff. It was one of the smoothest transactions I think I've ever had as far as selling a car. He was just a super agreeable guy. Wound up chatting to him most of the day on Monday, just back and forth over text. And then when he came to pick the car up, his wife and Naomi hit it off and they were chatting and he took the car away. And the next day he texted me after he got it registered and said, all right, everything's all set. We chatted a little more and he's like, obviously, this is a pretty cool car. Obviously, you took care of it very well over the years. He goes, and you guys seem pretty cool. I'll let you guys buy you guys a drink some night. We're like, oh, cool. So we have new friends.
There you go.
Sold a car, made some friends. So it's doesn't usually work out that well, but it worked out pretty well.
The didn't you say that they had test driven another one that had a clutch job that wasn't
They had test driven a bunch of
Yeah,
them, and they test drove another one that had a clutch replacement about the same time
yeah.
mine did. And he said that it did not drive anywhere near as nicely as mine did.
Hmm.
So my assumption is that they did the flywheel replacement and probably didn't replace everything.
Right.
The slave cylinder and all the hydraulics and the actual clutch assembly itself. Because when my car was taken apart, I could have reused the clutch and all the hydraulic stuff. But it was one of those things where it was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to the thing's apart. I might as well spend a few $100 more
Yeah,
and
you
do it
like
right.
don't do
So
that. It's a while you're in there thing. You always just do the clutch.
100%. It doesn't make any sense. So it's definitely. I wonder if that was the deal or not. But he said that he looked at a bunch of them. Mine was, after he closed the deal with me. Of course, he didn't let me in on his talking points beforehand. But he said that mine was by far the nicest one, even accounting for the body damage in the front. He said the interior was nice. He's looking for a non-sunroof car because he knows the
Yep.
sunroof cars have issues. And he said he looked at one with a sunroof and a couple with a sunroof, and every one of them had sagging headliners, and one of them actually had the sunroof was cocked shut so that it wouldn't leak. So he was not looking for one of those. He wanted one without a sunroof, and I think that my car was probably. I like to think that even though the market is crazy and cars are worth more than they used to be, I still think mine was one of the nicest, most fairly priced cars in the market.
Probably.
So there wasn't a lot of haggling. I put a little padding in my asking price, and I got what I really wanted for the car in the end
Yeah.
anyway. So, that's how you play the game,
Yeah. I
right?
mean, that's a known thing on
So,
the Golfs. Don't get the panel roof.
do not get the panel roof. No, it's not good. So, but yeah, no, I'm happy. I went to a good home. I actually gave him my crossbars as well that I had for the car, just because I like the
Yeah.
guy. I don't have anything else they fit right now, so he was stoked on that, and he stoked that it had a trailer hitch, so he can put his bike rack on
Yep.
that. And I'm sure I'll see it around because he only lives about 5.5 miles from here,
Oh,
so
random.
it didn't go far. Yeah, no, it wound up being, like I said, a pretty good transaction, and we have new bike friends, and life is good. So, no more updates on the Volkswagen ever because it's gone.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of Volkswagens, I got in mine Saturday morning, started up. You like you start the car, you get your phone set up for like music. I was like figuring out what I wanted and like plugged it in, and like I felt a little stumble, but whatever. It's cold idle. I look up, check engine lights on. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, like
Volkswagen life.
I just gotten gas at the same place I got gas before, and the check engine light came on. So I was like, well, that'd be weird if I got bad gas again, especially because the car sat for like
It would mean
2 weeks.
it would mean their tanks are probably
It's but
something's
I
wrong with
like
their tanks. Yeah,
because
it's half full of
because
water.
gas is so expensive. I got regular gas there, and they're also like
Oh, you cheap jerk! Your car's just
yeah,
mad at you.
maybe, and they're a super busy station, like always busy.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, whatever. And later on in the day, I get over. I had to go change the ignition switch in my grandfather's S70 Volvo. So that was over at my dad's house. It was like that was like real quick. That was like having a hard time. Like you turn it all the way to start, it was like stiff. So like
Okay.
I don't know. I figured it was the electrical part of the switch. It seems to be a little better. I mean I don't know. Car's 22 years old and has like 70,000 miles on it. So
Yeah, it doesn't
yeah,
get driven enough. That's
or
probably what it is.
it's a lot of start and stops.
That's true. It's only driven around town, and he drives to coffee, drives to get the paper, drives home, just turns it off, starts it a
Yeah,
lot. So there probably is a lot more
and
wear
like
than
without the
most
switch, the
70,000 mile
tumbler
Volkswagens,
moves really
Volvos.
nice. So I don't know.
Hmm.
Anyway, I
Interesting.
grabbed the scanner that my dad's got because I don't have one at my house. Plug it in. I'm like, well, let's see what this is. If it's bad fuel, I'll just clear it and throw some like octane booster in it. Look at it. Cylinder 3 misfire. I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah, that's not good in a brand new car.
Yeah, because I have like 18,000 miles in the car. All right, well, let's go do a visual inspection. So I open the hood, and it's got that plastic cover on the top of the engine, which on German cars, it's like on these little pins, you just pop it off.
Yeah, they're like rubber grommets with
Yep.
plastic pins in them.
And it is filled with maple helicopters and
Okay.
poop.
For those who don't know what maple helicopters are that don't live in New England, they're the seed pods that when they fall out of the tree, they helicopter to
Yep.
the ground. And for those who don't know what poop is, I'm sorry, I can't help you there.
So yeah, come to find out, this is not mice. This is very specific. Chipmunks gather these because
Very specific, like it's Chippendale.
yeah, yeah, it's
Very specific.
rescue rangers are living in my yard.
Perfect.
They so like mice will like gather up, like they'll pull like insulation out of your engine compartment and like make a nest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chipmunks apparently burrow. This is their burrow, and they only defecate inside of their burrow. Nowhere else. This is so that,
Somebody needs to teach them that you don't shit where you eat.
yeah. So they do this because they don't want predators to find them. So
Okay.
I don't know. Everything was stuffed in there between like the two coil packs. Maybe there's a lot of this big magnetic field from a coil pack. Maybe the dampness of the leaves or whatever caused interference, made one
Sure.
misfire.
Maybe chipmunk urine
Yeah.
caused your
I don't know.
misfire.
I cleaned it all out, vacuumed it out, cleared the code. It hasn't come back.
If you had a diesel, you would have had direct urea
Yeah.
injection.
I got to I gotta get under there, and like the engine was hot, so I was like, when the engine's cold and been sitting, I gotta get under there and pressure wash it all out.
Yeah, that's super annoying because it's not like the car sits for weeks at a time.
No, it gets
gets
driven a
driven
lot. I
3 days
mean,
a
it sat for
week.
2 weeks while I was working,
Sure.
but still, it gets driven a lot. And actually, when I changed the air filter not that long ago, they were like around the battery area. There was those maple helicopters, and I'd cleaned them out. But there were none in my airbox, so that was good.
It's strange. I don't know that the traditional rodent techniques work on chipmunks
No, they
either.
don't, because when I pulled the Montero out of storage to go to that Cars and Coffee the other week, they were all on top of the engine. Now that engine smells like rodent urine too, so I need to clean that. And they were living on top of the battery. But I thought because I leave the battery tender in there, it creates a little bit of heat, so it's like a nice little warm space to hide out. So I cleaned that out, and I was using it. And then I was like, the other day, last week, it was nice out, and I was going up to hang out with our buddy Jordan, help him wire up his rally car. I was like, oh, I'm going to pull the G20 out and take it for a ride because I haven't driven it yet this year. So I pull that out, open the hood, and I had dryer sheets on top of the engine in the Sparkplug Valley, and it was filled with helicopters. Like
Huh. So you made a little soft
I
blanket for the
guess so.
chipmunks in that one. Yeah. That's annoying. So now we need to figure out what stops chipmunks because I've never lived in a place where there was that many chipmunks that was a problem.
So I think what it is, my neighbor's being really annoying. I don't know. They don't.
Breeding chipmunks? I
Well,
guess so.
they feed the birds, but they don't have bird feeders. They throw bird seed onto the ground, directly onto the ground. So when you look over there in the morning, there is. I've never seen chipmunks, but there's squirrels, there's birds. Sometimes they throw large chunks of bread. So I've got seagulls out there in the morning. So it sounds like when I take Enzo out in the morning, I'm at the
Oh,
docks. It's like, oh,
this is
that's why
terrible.
they were all pooping all over the cars. My car had all bird poop stains all over it.
I'm not one to make a complaint, but can you complain to the city about this? That can't be legal.
Um, I mean, I passive aggressively put up an owl box in the backyard, hoping to attract an owl
Right.
because owls will feed
I
on the
think you should
chipmunks and they'll scare away other birds.
I think you should passively aggressively adopt a coyote.
That's the other thing.
I think that
They
would be
were
the way
like
to
all
do it.
upset about coyotes coming in their yards and bothering their dogs. Well, you're feeding all these little animals.
Hey,
It's like
you're literally feeding the animals, which draws the little animals here, which means you're also feeding the
Stephanie
coyotes.
says like Cinderella's house over there.
Yeah, it's literally like the entire food chain. Next thing you know, there's going to be a shark coming out of the pond behind your house just to eat the coyotes. I don't know what's next.
Yeah, sometimes there's ducks. We had we had that yard cat that they took in
Right?
because they were worried about it being outside.
Yeah,
And
they
I was like, all right,
stole.
whatever. I'm not gonna argue
Yeah,
with you over this, but because the cat would
they,
literally,
they stole your cat.
she would literally murder chipmunks for me. And like I
Right.
come home and she'd have dead ones in the driveway. I'm like, cool, thanks. I'll give you a little bit of
So I
food.
guess it's time to have another cat, but put a tag on it so that you know it's your cat and
Yeah,
they
I
can't
don't
steal
want
your
my
yard
cat to
cat.
go outside though, because we
No,
have
another
such a
cat.
busy street.
Another cat. It can't be your cat. It's gonna be another cat. We need to have. This needs to be a full like little old lady who swallowed the fly story here by the time we're done. So that escalates until you have a
Yeah,
lion, and once you have a lion,
keep a
then
bear in my
we'll have reached
backyard.
the ultimate. Whatever. Good thing is bears don't try to burrow under your hood.
I know it's a crazy thing.
So that's
I've
super
ne-
annoying. I'd be very angry if my neighbor
I've
was doing
never
that.
seen like a chipmunk on the ground, but I know sometimes at night the motion detector go off in the driveway, so maybe they're running around out there.
Yeah, that's weird. I
Because what
don't
I'll
like
do
it.
every now and then when I
You know what?
clean the cars is I clean under the hoods, and even like Stephanie's car, which gets driven a
Sure.
lot, there's been evidence of chipmunks on top of her engine.
Yeah, her car is driven almost every day.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, I don't. I've never like again. Your house isn't that far from where we grew up. It's the same kind of ecosystem, and we never had a chipmunk problem. I remember once like a chipmunk got in your dad's garage
Well,
and it was running around.
my family always had cats, outdoor cats.
That's true.
Our old cat Meatball would just murder everything. And he'd be over like
Yeah, that's
all
true.
where you stored your cars. He'd always be over there hunting around.
He saved all my
Yeah.
cars. I
And then
appreciate
I
that.
mean and the only time I've ever seen a chipmunk, he brought one in the house. It was stuck in the bathroom one time. I had to get it out of the house.
Interesting.
The
Well,
yeah,
that's super annoying. I'd be very annoyed if I had neighbors that were inviting
yeah.
rodents to the neighborhood to destroy my cars. Like that's and air rodents to poo my cars. That's just
Yeah.
gross.
That cat even
I don't
caught
like any of this.
a flying squirrel, which I'd never seen around here before.
No, no.
Because it was definitely a flying squirrel because it was like it wasn't dead.
He'd come
He
back
like
from
stunned it,
safari.
and then it like jumped onto the side of the deck like the post, and it was like splayed out, and you could see that it had like the wingsuit. It's like
Yeah.
weird.
That cat would disappear for weeks at a time because he's probably out in safari hunting
Yeah,
exotic animals and bringing them back for you. Who knows? Who knows how far away that cat went?
yeah.
But that's crazy. It's super annoying. Now we need to, I guess, dig into what is repulsive to chipmunks, other than a yard cat. Because again, we don't want the little old
The
lady
crazy
story
thing is
here.
they don't. Luckily, they don't chew anything. They're just making burrows.
Sure. Yeah, but they still like. I'm sure disease ridden and
Oh
gross.
yeah, and like
Yeah.
driving the Montero down to the donut meet. Then after it was parked, I'm like standing next to it. I'm like, oh, I can smell the urine smell
Yeah, it's incredibly gross.
because they like to live in the valley of the engine. So super annoying.
Need to come out here to Phoenix where there's nothing like that at all. Like we have literally no weird things in our yard. Maybe because we have dogs and the neighbors have cats.
Yeah, the cat
But
that lives in your Asterian.
the starry cat, yes, exactly. No, there's no. It's funny because when we first bought this house, she was installing a doggy door, and I was like, I don't like that idea. And she's like, why? You don't have to let the dog out. I was like, yeah, but what about like raccoons and rabbits and rodents and possums and skunks? And she's like, when was the last time you saw any one of those things in Phoenix? And I was like, I don't know. I assume they're somewhere. And she's like, no, we don't have any of that stuff.
It's weird.
So, and here we are 2 years later, never had anything in the house but a dog. So, and I'm sure the cats are afraid of the dogs, so they won't go through it.
Mm.
So, and plus, I wouldn't care if a cat came in the house. That's fine. She'd be upset because she's allergic, but I'd be happy to have a little friendly cat. So, anyway, that's wild. I don't like it, but
Nope.
I do have a little more project car updates as I'm thinking about things. I have done some more things. You can get back into my stuff unless you're got more on yours.
No, I just have to. I mean, so far everything's fine. Like, I get
Yeah, because you're just getting into automotive season.
yeah, I got to do an oil change in the
So,
G20
that's
because I
good.
got a track night next week. I did buy some of
Excellent.
that Motul oil to try out. So
The higher zinc stuff for
yeah,
the
which should
older
be good
cars.
also for doing track days, doing a lot of RPMs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I dug a little into the Honda. I think I brought that up last
Yeah,
week, right? That the Honda
I
was
don't know why you
broken.
just throw it
The car
away.
I'd never even revealed that we had. So we dug a little into it. I took my borescope over to where the car is, and we had the spark plugs out. And looking down each cylinder, and 1 and 2 look totally normal. 4 look totally normal. Number 3 was completely oil soaked and gross looking. The spark plug from number 3 also was completely covered in what looks like a mix of oil and coolant. So the assumption there is that it's not the whole motor that's gone bad; it's a head gasket.
Yeah.
That's the assumption we can come up with, and we got a little bit of a compression reading out of it, and the more times we tested it, the lower it got. So my assumption is that something there is in the head gasket is just failing a little at a time, and it's not doing anything as far as compression goes when the car's running. So we're going to, or I ordered the head gasket, timing belt, water pump, upper gasket set, as well as some spark plugs and head bolts. And we're going to continue to take it off. Oh, and I say timing belt? I got timing belt as well. So we're going to continue to take it off. And if it winds up being a bad head gasket, then great. We'll send the head out and have it planed, put the new head gasket on, and call it a day, right? So hopefully that's all it is. Do you want to take a stab in the dark at what all those parts cost? So head gasket, head bolts, upper gasket set, timing belt, and water pump.
I don't know, $120.
You're off by $3. It was $123. So I don't know why we don't just have nothing but Hondas, man. They are so cheap. So plentiful, so cheap. Like, doesn't cost anything. So that made me happy. But hopefully it's all it is. We're going to do a little more digging, but we have the parts to throw it right back together if that's all it is. And move on to the next step with that car. So, and then the Cressida, the 1981 Cressida, which I keep saying is like this close to being done, is at this point still just this close to being done.
Yeah.
The fuel line that goes from the filter to the hard line that goes back to the tank had a split in it. It looks like it was actually chewed by a rodent. Does not look like a normal split because the rest of the line is totally pliable and good. So I'm assuming that it was torn by a rodent because it was up under a little shield along the frame rail where it would have been a perfect place for a rodent to make a nest. So I got that out. Nobody makes that line. So I think we talked on the podcast before when you had to make new lines for the Montero fuel pump lines.
Yeah.
That they crimped on fittings. And if we take like a whiz wheel, you can cut right through that. And there's just a standard hose nipple on each end.
Yeah.
So I did all that in preparation for putting new fuel lines on. Nobody stocks the correct size fuel line in a fuel injection
No.
pressure.
So I got all my stuff from Jegs or Summit.
Yeah, I had to order everything online, so I'm waiting on that now.
Yeah,
So I was able to get a couple. So I need 4 different sizes to put this car back together. 2 of which were stocked at AutoZone, and then the other 2 I had to order.
Yeah,
online.
I got good Earl's line. I got good Earls. Why can't I say it right now?
It's Earl.
I'm saying Earls.
It's Earls with an S.
Earls.
It's like apostrophe, like Earl's fuel line.
Get some
like Earl. There's Earl in that ground. Yeah.
Yeah, I got some nice stuff of that because it's not like non-permeable, and they're nice fuel injection clamps, not worm clamps.
Yeah, I got the fuel injection clamps. That wasn't an issue, but it was getting line that was rated for more than like 3 bar, which is not enough to support fuel injection.
Like 30 to 40 psi. So,
well, yeah, 3 bar is that. 3 bar is 45.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, what I was reading was that's like the upper limit of the hose that's rated at 3 bars. So the stuff that I got is like 8 bar. So I don't have to worry about it at all. I just figured I'd
Yeah,
rather
but
overkill
that
than
fuel
anything
injection is
else.
not like more than like 45 psi. No,
No,
it's not high pressure.
you're probably right. Anyway, you're right. That's why
Like
the pump was $50
direct
or
injection is
whatever.
like 1500 psi at the
No,
pump.
that's way different. Yeah. Yeah, that's way
um,
different. I know it's not direct injection, but I was just afraid that because everybody made me scared that I shouldn't run the non-fuel injection line, and the line literally says right on it, "Not for fuel injection."
well, yeah, you need fuel injection line because yeah, it's rated
Right,
for
but
like
the stuff that says "not for fuel injection" also says 3 bar, which is 45 psi.
oh I don't know, I don't know then.
So that's why I was like, it says not for fuel injection. I'm just going to go ahead and get something else. Maybe I'm erring the side of caution here, but I'm going to anyway because I don't want to do this whole job again. So anyway, the fuels line should be here shortly. So fingers crossed I can put it together this weekend because I'm getting antsy now. It's been too long. And it's like right at that point where it's like, it's so close. You know what I mean? Like it's right there. And I just haven't been able to do it yet. On the good side, I did get the windshield in the car.
Oh, real quick, that is the Ron method on the fuel lines. That's where I picked it up from.
Yes. Yep. He did it on Histarion. So you learned to do it on the
Yeah, I
Montero,
don't
and
know
I
where
did
he
it on
got
the
it,
Cressida.
but that's Ron told me about that.
Yep. So the Cressida did get a new windshield put in it because it came with a terribly cracked, very badly cracked windshield. It made the whole car look way worse than it was. Got the new windshield in. It makes the car look it's significantly better. It's amazing how much better it looks just replacing a smashed windshield. It looks way less abandoned,
Was it like
I guess
smash
is how I'd
smash
say
or
it.
just cracked?
It wasn't like a hit a person smashed,
Just like your
but it had lots of
like
cracks.
a angry girlfriend and a baseball bat smashed.
It kind of had that look to it, yeah. Like something fell on it at one point, and there were a couple of points of impact. So I don't know if like a tree branch fell on it or what at some point in its life, but it was definitely a disaster. So it had to go. I had been talking to another, Cressida enthusiast, and they were telling me that windshields were impossible to find. So I started doing some digging, looking for a shop that would build one, which is also hard to find.
Yeah, you talked about this.
There is a shop in California, yeah. But anyway, so I found the windshield.
And the
It finally came
yeah,
in.
and that guy was the expert that did it.
The expert came in. He's been doing it since the 70s. He used to work at a shop that did an account for a Toyota dealer, so he knew how to do 70s, 80s Toyota windshields. He took every molding off around the windshield, and you're not familiar with the car, but it's surrounded by chrome moldings, one of which covers the entire A pillar on the outside. So if you break that, then you have this very ugly thing. But he managed to get off every single molding without breaking even one 40-year-old clip,
Nice.
which is pretty impressive. So he took off the cowl. The only thing he had to break were the clips they're like push pins that hold the cowl in the front, which isn't a big deal. They're just plastic push pins. There was no way to save those. But he took that out, all the stainless screws, because all the moldings are also held in with clips and stainless steel
Yeah.
screws, which is nice. All those came out nice. Got the old windshield out. He goes, "Oh, somebody put this in wrong." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "It was definitely a replacement." He goes, "It should have a certain kind of molding that goes around here, and then have the I can't think of what it's called on top of my head. The black gummy stuff,
Yeah, the butyl tape.
butyl. Yeah,
Dum dum.
it should have the butyl. Yeah, it should have the butyl as like just a little extra in the end. It shouldn't just be entirely glued in there with butyl." So he installed it properly. It looks perfect. The windshield moldings are all back on it. And I was looking at it. It's not even a cheap Chinese glass. It's actually a PPG glass.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a pretty big come up for the car, and it makes it look so much better. He also gave me the contact for a guy who he says is a miracle with vinyl to fix the dashboards in my cars.
Okay.
So
All
we'll
right.
see how that works out too. So yeah, it
Sounds
worked
like
out
the guy
pretty
you
well.
want.
I was like, man, I need to keep your number handy because I got some more work for you in the backyard. And he goes, "Well, you better hurry up because I retired a year and a half ago and I can't leave. I'm trying to get out of
Oh,
here."
really?
I was like, "Oh, okay. Yeah."
Tell me, pay,
So he's still working for the guy, but he's officially retired a while
tell me,
ago.
pay him on the side for old cars every once in a while.
100% I would, yeah. Well, it's funny. So part of the story that I meant to tell and forgot, the passenger side door decided that it didn't want to open.
Okay.
So when I got the car, the outside handle did not work, but you could open it from the inside. And I was like, all right, that's on my list of things that I have to fix because again, it's a project car. So I went to open the door and I was like, oh yeah, that's right too. The handle doesn't work. So I crawled across to open it because you have to open the door to get the windshield moldings off, and it wouldn't open from the inside handle. And I was like, oh, what the hell? So now I'm like frustrated and I'm messing around with the outside lock, and it feels like the lock assembly itself isn't turning enough. Like the key tumbler is not going far enough. So I'm trying to get the tumbler to move and it won't move. And the whole time I'm trying to do that, he gets in the car from the driver's side. Again, knows Toyotas, crawls across, and he has the entire door panel off cleanly, not broken, within 5 minutes. So I can reach in there and I can release the latch from the inside.
Nice.
Yeah, like if anybody else had come to do this, they would have had to come back because they wouldn't even attempted to help me by taking the door apart. This guy was the best. So if anybody needs a windshield done in Phoenix, Dave's Metro Auto Glass, highly recommended. So I gave him and his partner a big tip to buy him lunch
Cool.
because that was above and beyond service. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that certainly is not something you expect, especially not in 2022. But it seems like all these companies just have, you know, bottom of the barrel, low paid employees trying to do this stuff now. And this was like a true professional quality job. And I cannot say enough about how good the job was. So the windshield's in the car. It looks really good. I want to find one of those companies now that does the clear film on the outside. It's supposed to stop with the rock chips and
Hmm.
whatnot. So that's
Oh,
the
there
next step
might be. It
on the
must be a
windshield
thing.
anyway. It's a thing everywhere now. A lot of antique car guys are getting it done for, again, harder to find, harder to replace
Hmm.
glass. It's almost like it's different than the paint protection film on the hoods and stuff. It's a different material, and it's really good at it's self healing, and it's really good at like reflecting stones. And I was watching a video on it recently where they put it around just the edge of the windshield, not even the surface in the middle, and like they're throwing rocks at it. And something about the frequency of this stuff on the glass protects the glass from breaking. It's weird,
It's weird.
but technology is
Cause yeah,
crazy
cause
nowadays
like
with
the way you're
stuff. So
describing it totally sounds like snake oil, but
100% it does. And I listen, I yeah, maybe it is, but I think that the clear film over the windshield itself is also good because it'll stop from the like sand pitting, which is a thing out here.
yeah,
So it's like a tear off on a race
yeah.
car windshield, you know?
Maybe that's where they get the technology from.
It could be, I don't know, but it's like ultra clear, ultra thin, and it supposedly does a miracle job to save windshields. So I'm willing to try it.
Hmm.
But I think that's it for project cars. I don't think I've touched anything else other than that. Everything else is just kind of sitting around waiting its turn, but nothing else going on there.
Yeah.
I don't have much car news either. I don't think I have a lot of. Hasn't been a lot going on. You went to an event. You went to the donut event. Or we talked about that
That
last
was
week.
last week.
Yeah, I literally did. I did no car events last weekend.
Huh. It's unusual for you.
I even drove by one. Yeah, I even drove by one, but it didn't stop. We just had other stuff going on, and it just didn't. It didn't happen. So I don't. I have nothing to report, man. That's not
Yeah.
good. I'm not doing my job.
No, I guess not.
I'm not doing my job.
There were some crazy auction
So,
results.
oh, it has been a weird
Yeah.
week in auctions, hasn't it?
Yeah. How about,
And mostly '90s stuff or '80s '90s stuff. Is that what you're
yeah,
talking
like
about?
didn't that Fox body, Cobra R, go for like uh 6 figures or something?
Yeah, but that's not even anything. Do you want to know what Bring a Trailer sold today? Speaking of Fox
No, what
bodies.
did they sell today? I must have missed that.
So Bring a Trailer sold a 1993 Mustang convertible
Okay.
with the saline
Mm-hmm.
package. It's a low mile car. It's not a delivery mile car. It has been driven like 12,000 miles. Um, do you want to stab in the dark at what a 12,000 mile 93 saline convertible sold for?
I don't know. 35 grand.
Oh, come on now. If I, it wouldn't be newsworthy at 35 grand.
Wouldn't be.
No,
Uh,
a 12,000 mile Fox body, even a GT 12,000 miles is
Oh, okay,
like
okay, okay,
75.
okay.
So this is a 12,000 mile Saline convertible, black on black, 5 speed, all the typical Saline stuff. The lower body kit, the convertibles all have that one rollover hoop, the big wing,
All right,
3 piece
95
wheels.
thousand.
$226,000.
Uh, what?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Wow.
So it's not even stock. It has a couple of
Flows
mods. It
and
has some
flows.
different wheels. Yeah, right. It just doesn't. Yeah. Well, I guess they are saline wheels. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought 17s would be too big for them, but I guess not.
Yeah, that was their thing.
So yeah. But anyway, yeah, $226,000 for a Mustang, a Fox body. I was talking earlier with a friend at work about it, and I sent him a picture of the dashboard, and it was literally just like from outside, like the driver's window, looking at the seats, the front of the seats, like the knee bolsters, and the dash and the steering wheel, and it has that standard Ford airbag steering wheel.
Yep,
And I was like, man, imagine paying $226,000 for this view. Like
I
just to
know.
sit in this driver's seat. Like I don't even want to get too into like the whole there are better ways to spend your money, but spending $226,000 and sitting at the driver's seat of a 1993 Mustang is just
Especially
it just seems like a bridge too far.
because we've sat in ones that were like 3 grand, and
It's the same. It's the same
it's the
view.
same.
Nothing has changed. There's no
It still
yeah,
feels as crummy in the build quality.
and it has that same steering wheel that was in a Ford Taurus. Like it's just I don't know. It just seems like a anomaly, like even a bigger anomaly than there should be. And then also at the end of I think it was the end of last week, there was a Saab 900 that sold on Bring a Trailer,
Yeah,
and it wasn't even a very low mile car. It was an SPG, so it's I guess you could say it's the equivalent of a Saline and a Saab, right? Has 67,000 miles, which is low for a 1991 car, I guess, but it sold for $57,000. And that nothing means anything anymore. Basically, I guess is where we are.
yeah, that was wild.
It's all, it's all,
And
it's all
then
junk.
the best deal on Craigslist, sorry, on Bring a Trailer, was that VW Quantum today.
Okay, I didn't see that.
You sent it. You sent it to me.
Oh, I did. What did it sell for?
It
Do you
was
know?
like
I
thirty
didn't
five
see
hundred
what it's
dollars.
perfect. So yeah, we were saying there still is a market for the weird, like a good condition, unloved car will still sell for a decent price, right? So that's an 85 Volkswagen Quantum. It's basically an Audi 5000 chassis, which is a B2 Passat. The rest of the world got the Quantum as a Passat. You know, it's a decent car, fairly low miles for the year, 125,000. Same inline five. It's in the Audi 4000. Automatic transmission probably hurt the car a lot, but yeah, $3,500. It's an easy little driver. Somebody put the Passat logos on it instead of the Quantum logos, just to kind of make it probably more recognizable in today's market. But yeah, it's pretty neat. But then also, currently on Bring a Trailer,
Yeah.
we were talking about station wagons today at work, and this car came up. It's a 2011 Mercedes Benz E350.
Okay.
It's not an AMG. It's not anything special. It's a 3.5 liter V6. It's got 57,000 miles on it. It's an 11.
Is it the
This car was,
all drive one?
it is
Yeah.
all-wheel drive. It's a
4MATIC.
4MATIC.
Which I always thought meant a 4-speed transmission.
Oh, that'd be weird. Especially not 2011
I know,
car.
but they use that 4MATIC for a
A
long
4 automatic. Yeah,
time.
I guess.
Right?
Anyway, it means four-wheel drive. So this car is a 2011 with like 60,000 miles on it, which is obviously low. Um, I don't understand. Okay, it's a bad bill. It's bad. It's a bad bid. All right, digging a little deeper. It's at $120,000 right now, and I was like, "What is
What?
happening?"
What?
Yeah, but it looks like somebody must have fat fingered it. So never mind. News. News
Okay.
over. It's not news. Yeah, I was like, "What? Why is this car at 120 grand?" All right, never mind. Nobody's paying 120 grand for Mercedes Benz E350. Crisis averted. The bid before it was 11.5,
Oh,
so I
it's supposed
assume
to
they
be
meant to put
12.
12,000. Yeah, it should have been fixed by now. It shouldn't be at a point where it's been that way for a while.
Weird.
So, all right, panic, crisis averted, no issues. But yeah, the world is weird. We know that. I wish I had a. I wish my turbo diesel wagon was worth 50 grand or something stupid, but it wasn't. So it is what it is. I don't know. It's I don't even I honestly, Andrew, I just don't even want to talk about car values anymore. None of it makes sense. I don't have I don't have any way to suss it out.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I used at least on auction sites. You gotta buy a private sale or something. I think if you want a deal,
Yeah.
clearly.
The bad automotive news that came out this
What
week.
was that?
E15.
Oh yeah, it's annoying.
Yep. So it's not going to affect your daily driver much, but it's the kind of thing that's going to affect your cars that sit.
Yeah.
The more ethanol content that's in the fuel, the faster it goes bad and the more it gums up.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like to combat prices, they're going to be allowing E15 instead of E10, which is, like I said, it's not great, but cars that parked a lot, it's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
So just as a heads up for people, make sure you.
You live in an area where it's probably easier to find ethanol free fuel. There's like an app.
Not in the city. I guess I never
Yeah, there's
looked.
an app for it. You can look up. It's like pure gas.
Okay.
There's not a lot of places around here, but probably in your area, it's probably more common. You
I don't think I
get better
noticed.
fuel mileage without it too. So, but I digress.
I'll have to start. I'll have to start looking for it because I do not know. I've never searched. So, but yes, E15 is coming. Just you'll know because the pump will say E15. You know what you're putting in there.
Mm,
And like I said, it's really not a huge issue as far as most cars go. But if you're looking for a car that's not used as often and gets parked and stuff might go bad, then that's going to be a different story. So
mm-hmm.
anyway, that's it. I think we had a short episode today, Andrew. I don't have much else going on. Do you?
No, I feel like there was something else, but I don't remember.
Excellent. Well, put it through for next week
Yeah,
when we'll have more projects done and more stuff happening and be good to go.
because there was a New York Auto Show, but I don't even think anything really cool debuted.
I haven't seen anything. I've seen a bunch of weird old stuff that they've been promoting at the New York Auto Show this
Yeah.
year. Like the whole eBay Motors display is New York Auto Show. There was some weird diecast stuff that happened like congruently to it in places next door to it, which was
Oh, I
weird.
didn't know about that.
They announced some new diecast stuff. Yeah, just nothing important has happened. So I think we should just give it an end and come back next week with a full plate.
All right, cool. So follow us Odd Off Topic Podcast on Facebook, Odd Off Topic on Instagram, Odd Off Topic on Twitter. I'm on Twitter, Race and Anger, and on Instagram. And Brad, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at TSISS350 as always.
All right, cool. Keep cars analog and aim for the rose.